Hello and welcome to Hub City Now. I'm your host, Tyrone Tony Reed Jr. Today we have with us Amber Russell, who is the owner of DT Marketing and who is also a public speaker. She's an entrepreneur that we wanted to talk to about and who we are happy to have on the show. Thank you for being here today, Amber.
Hey, Tyrone. Thank you for having me.
Amber, tell us a little bit about yourself, where you're from, and how you came to Jackson.
Okay, so I'm originally from Texas, born and raised from Corpus Christi.
Okay.
And I moved up to Arkansas, a little small town, and then I graduated college from Arkansas Tech University and basically slowly made my way out to the Memphis area. And then I just have friends that I know here out in the Jackson. And so I've been doing a little working here and there.
Okay. Well, how did you get into marketing and public speaking?
So at Arkansas Tech, I graduated with a degree in management and marketing, and I actually ran a physical business over in Jonesboro, Arkansas. And so I got promoted to district manager, so I had to do a lot of my own traditional marketing. And so that's flyering, showing up to businesses, and not so much of the digital side because they already had a software for that. I just basically updated with that thing. And so I got out of it because then I realized my own path and my own dream, and I just started to find my own self. I've always been a go-getter, as people like to call me. And so then I moved out to Memphis, and I got a marketing job out there. And so then I started to really pick up on the things I'm really good at and what I like to pursue more into. And then as I just go out and talk to businesses and network, I love networking and I absolutely love meeting people. And so then they would always ask, do you just do this for them or do you do your own stuff? And so then it turned into bringing it into my own thing, creating it into me. And then I added public speaking on it because then a lot of people started to ask me, how are you so confident with your speaking ability? Or you just get up and talk. And so then I just decided to add that to me as well. And so I just started really forming it, and it took some time, but then I created this business that I really want for it to take off into.
What drew you to marketing? Because you like you said, you're confident about it and you're able to speak to people, and some people aren't able to do that at all. And that's why there's so many marketing people out there, or publicists and public speakers. What makes you so comfortable with it, and what drew you to marketing?
Honestly, and I had this conversation with my dad last night too, is because I, during college, I actually went to college to be a teacher. Part of my background is, it's a rough one. Everyone's got their story, but a lot of the mentality that I grew up with is, if you're not good at this one thing in life, you can't get a good job, you can't have a nice car, you can't have the things that you want. And then I was going through the courses of the education class, and I realized this is not for me. I'm a very blunt person, and I try my best to stand up for what I believe in. And so I was like, this is not for me. And I started freaking out because, like I said, this mentality is you gotta have this one thing. If you don't have this one thing, then it's shot, right? But then I realized a lot of my friends, they're in management and marketing or some type of marketing course, and I've had retail jobs, mostly a restaurant job, and so we had to, of course, you talking to all different types of people, body language, reading them, and so I was like, well, this is a good fit for me, and so then I bandwagon, so basically joined it, and then I did realize eventually it was a pretty good fit for me to stick in this marketing type, and then I just got interested, the whole background analytics, things of that nature, and I just stuck with it and graduated with it.
That's awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. I should have gotten a degree in crying and stressing out more, but it worked. It worked.
So how did you come up with the name for your company?
Okay, so previously, like I said, running the business and even being employed with out in Memphis and coming out this way, I had to do a lot of creative writing, content writing, going out to businesses, and even the business that I ran, like I said, I had to go out there and talk to them. Not that that was a problem, but there are still a lot of things, even in our digital world today, that we do a lot of traditionally. Right. So that's flyering, that's meeting the business owner, that's going to those conferences, that's putting a face to the name. And so a lot of people now, when they do consulting businesses, they do, just digital marketing, right, or some type of digital thing to tack onto. And that's great, but there are still a lot of traditional things that we do.
Radio, TV.
Right, exactly. And
paper.
Exactly, yeah. And so there may be a time where we won't use paper. I really don't see that because I even use it for a lot of my speeches that I write, even content writing. But we're still in this era of we're transitioning, but why not still utilize the things
the traditional stuff that's always worked?
Exactly, and that's going to be around too.
Right. And that I used to wonder why are people in the market? Because when I was in school and I was majoring in journalism, I was like, why are people from marketing in here? And now I've realized that you all, are like reporters.
Essentially, yeah.
Because you're interviewing people, you're asking them, well, how do you want to get your product out? What is your mission? What is your goal? What is the message that you want to convey to your consumers and bring them in? What is your mission for your business, for your company?
So really for me, it's to be able to put that confidence back into people. And I feel like a lot of business owners or even entrepreneurs themselves, it's that mindset of bandwagoning. Like I told you, like I hopped on because it just fit, Right. But even in the sense of being a business owner, being an entrepreneur, sometimes just being a bandwagon doesn't really fit well. And so people are just kind of nervous about what direction to take and stand firm in what they believe in as their own mission or things of that nature. And so as I'm talking to these businesses and as I'm just going out, meeting people, and then even evaluating my own self, I just realize I have an ability to help people really get down to what they're focusing on, not to be distracted by different things, but to help them allocate, okay, like I see you better here, or using both, and this is how you could do it, this is how it could help you, or think along these lines. Right. And like it's kind of funny because when you talk to somebody, they are telling you what they care about. And so even if it's a complaining thought, it's a very passive thought that they're complaining about, and there's someone, they need attention on it. And so even when someone's being positive about their feelings, this is where my business is and I want X, Y, Z. And, they're just throwing stuff out. And so I just help people, hey, like, this is what you're sounding like. Right. This is kind of like the best solution I see fit for you. Right. What are your thoughts and comments on it? Right. And so that is what I really want to have a lot of my business based on, is I just want to help. How can I do that in the best way? That's awesome.
I want to read a post that you made on Amber Russell, your marketing page.
Okay.
If you want to find it, it's at facebook.com/ARUS Marketing. That's all together, ARUS Marketing. It's a December 4th, 2018 post, but it says self-discipline equals self-love. It is okay to tell people that you need time to clear your thoughts so that you can be present in the moment. Whether people go to you for advice or not, telling people you need this time aside is okay. We don't practice that enough, and it is something that is essential for our emotional and spiritual health. How can you truly be there for someone asking your advice if you can't properly handle your emotions and thoughts to consider their feelings properly? Practice self-love. And it says, tag someone who needs to know this. As an entrepreneur, how do you do this? Because I know it's not just reading it, I can tell that this is something that you actually do. So how do you do that as an entrepreneur? That's being asked, hey, can you help me? Can you do this? Can you do that? I know you're good at it. How? Nope. Right now, I just need to.
Yeah. And, that's just a general life thing, too. I realized I actually read a book. I love reading. I do. And I read in this book, and it talked a lot about, when you're communicating with somebody, that if you're not all there, how are you giving your true self to them?
Right.
And it's the same mentality of being a business owner, helping someone else out. If you are not all there, meaning you don't have a lot of financial things going on, you don't have a plan really. Let's put the financial stuff aside because that will come. But if you don't have a plan that you are firm behind on, how can you really help them?
Right.
And how do you have that mindset of I want to help you, but yet I want to make a profit? Sometimes you got to realize my resource, yeah, like you need help, but it sounds like I can't help you in this department. Let me show you who else can really be a better fit for you.
Right.
And just giving and receiving, in the end, you actually will receive something. I mean, it could be.
It's a relationship.
Exactly. Yeah. And I don't think we practice that enough at the fact of we're just like, gimme. Like, I want all of this. I want all of this. But there are other people out there, too, that have helped you somehow along the way to get to where you're at. So giving back to them or just sending them off to someone else. And you got to be honest with yourself, too. I feel like we're in a time that we're not honest with ourselves.
Right.
And so on that post that I made, you've got to know you, or at least on the right track to you. And it's okay to be like, hey, I can't right now.
Right.
I need 30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes and then I can be there for you. Right. You know, like even with the business, it's not the fact of I need 30 minutes and then I can help you. No, it's I know what my plan is. I know what my service or product is.
Right.
I really don't think it can help you, but hey, here's
somebody
XYZ. Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And so just going back to that.
Right. What motivates you?
I feel like I got that a lot. What motivates me? Okay, I'm 24 years old, and I've just always had this vision, I guess you can say. I don't know. It's funny because words are powerful. Right. And I don't mean it in the sense of, yes, it's my business, but as I do a lot of reading, I even listen to a lot of different motivational speakers. And so the power of your thought and you speaking it, it really does affect your world.
That's right.
And this funny story, my parents were fighting and my dad left the apartment. He loved the fact that I'm telling the story. He left the apartment. He sat outside his car. He was taking a minute, you know, and he said that I walked up to him in the vehicle and I told him, Dad, this is what you need to do. You need to do this. You need to do this. And I'm just letting you know I'm going places. So this is what you need to do. And he said, he don't know where I got it from, but ever since then, he started speaking that into existence for me. Awesome. Like you're going places. And so I just started developing that, okay, like I'm going places and hearing it and just seeing that vision. That's important. And then speaking it too. And that's why I wrote that post too, because self-discipline and self-love, it's understanding, okay, this is my vision, right? You asked that, this is my mission. Right. And so it's seeing that every day, it's speaking it every day. Right. And it's understanding that you've got to try and fail to know where you're going.
Right. You got to at least try.
Exactly.
Right. Because if you don't, you're not going anywhere.
Yes. And so what motivates me is the fact that I get up and I try. Because I can tell you a bunch of different stories about me. I went in this one direction and I realized it's, you know, I tried it, but it's not for me. Let's go on to the next one. Let's go on to the next one and the next one, or however many. Because every entrepreneur, even business owner, they have to find their market, right? For entrepreneur, they've got to be able to motivate their own selves, find that inner strength that they have. But it's the fact that, you know what, I'm going to get up and I'm going to try today. I'm going to love myself today. And how can I love myself with my business? It's doing this. Let me try. If that makes sense.
I mean, this is. I mean, the Bible says the power of life and death is in the tongue.
Yes.
And so, what you speak, if you speak it long enough, that's what you're going to be.
Yeah.
And you got to have a vision, because if you don't, you won't make it. You're preaching.
Oh, thank you. Try no.
So, how has being an entrepreneur affected your family life?
Well,
how's your family viewed that?
Honestly, I'm the only one in Tennessee.
Okay.
All of my family is either in Texas, and some of them are in Arkansas. Okay. But I would say I am the black sheep of the family. And my parents, they don't run their own business.
Okay.
They don't.
Has anybody in your family run their own business?
My grandparents on my mom's side, they started their own trucking business. So, and then they passed it on to my aunt.
Okay.
But again, I have a rough story, and so part of my story is I wasn't around long enough to watch that built from the ground up, or even told stories, And so, and then I moved off, and so, being the only person like from my parents' side and just going through a lot of this on my own, I honestly say it would have a positive effect on them. Because even during college, I started to try and find myself, right? And college is the perfect time to find yourself. It's a little scary because I believe it's true when you come from, this is what you know, here's your routine, and then all of a sudden you are thrown into no routine and you got to find your own groove. It's scary. Yeah. And so some people can handle it and some people don't. I felt like I said, I should have got a degree in crying and stressing, but here I am. And I felt like even in college, as I was talking to my dad or my sister or even a little bit of my mom and just letting them know, like, this is what I'm going through, this is what I'm scared of, but hey, you know what? I'm doing it. And there was actually one time I was a victim of fraud during college. And so I don't come from a family with money. And so when that happened, it was like, you should have known better. You should have known better. And I had to stand up for myself. It's like, you know what? I didn't know better. But I'm letting you know I'm going to get myself out of it. I'm not telling you to help me because I know like we can't really do a lot. But I'm letting you know that I need your support in this. And I honestly felt like even that, standing up for myself when I really didn't have anything, started to change my family. And then I started to open up more about, this is like where I want to go. This is what I want to do. Vision, speaking it, right? And then even now, being 24 years old, I call my dad. I'm like I said last night, I was like, I really felt like this was a God thing. Like I just doing a lot of reflections and just being open about it. I would say it has more of a positive effect. We're talking more. And I feel like a lot of families don't really do that. And just taking that step of being vulnerable. But it's also taking away your pride, And so it's just opening up to them. And I think that has changed. Now, I'm really hoping eventually that I want to be a generational cursor. Like, that's my end goal for all of this. And I really think that's why, like, I was built for this platform. It's a struggle, because you got to get it going.
That's true.
But so far right now, the changes that I'm seeing, it's more of we're rekindling our relationships with one another.
That's good.
And even though we're like disputing, there's been many times we've disputed, but it's understanding, okay, like we're coming back together, and it's not a pretty process.
It's not easy. And everything you're saying, I understand because I'm an entrepreneur myself. I'm an author. And I'm working on my third and fourth novel now. But trying to do something that nobody in your family has done before is scary to them, to your parents and to your family members. Like, oh, why don't you just go get a 9-to-5 and, you get some good insurance and get you a good place and, work there for 30, 40 years. You'll be good. Everything will be okay.
Security.
Retire. Yeah. But there's really no security. I mean, they keep telling people who are getting older, you're going to have to work longer. So if you don't have to work longer, why not do something you enjoy that God's giving you a passion for to help other people and help yourself at the same time?
Yes.
And it's hard. Like you said, it's hard being an entrepreneur. There are things I've found myself having to sit down and talk with my wife about, hey, God gave me this to do and this, we need this, we need that. And I'm like, I understand that, but I believe God will provide.
Yeah.
If I listen to what he's telling me to do, I've had to sit down with my parents and go, hey, this is what I'm going to do. Well, why don't you do this first and blah, 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 and get this. But every step of the way, I'm sitting right here today because God gave me this.
Right.
I was not looking to do this, but God gave me this. And so sometimes you have to go it alone. And that's why what motivates you, because sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes it's just you with the vision at night or early in the morning. So that's where I want to go now. How is your day structured? How early do you get up? How early have you given up? Do you wake up with ideas in your head, or what do you do?
Well, honestly, I get up. I'm a morning person.
Okay.
So I'm up at 5 in the morning.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm up at 4 in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people listening later, they're like, what? That's crazy. But it's a personal goal for myself. It's a sacrifice for myself, for my business, for my family.
Right.
And it's understanding, okay, because yes, right now I am still employed with someone else.
Right.
But if you wake up earlier before anyone
you can
else,
work for yourself.
Exactly, you get all the things done that you need to get done, and then life can be demanding because life is going to happen regardless.
Right.
So I wake up early, I have my coffee. I like to drink coffee, and I don't wake up with ideas.
Okay.
But I wake up, and honestly, for me, and I'm not, trying to, step on anyone's toes as I'm talking, but for me, what helps make me feel better to start my day out right, I listen to a sermon.
Right.
I do every single morning. And sometimes it's not that I forget, but sometimes I don't want to, like, okay, God, like, I don't want to hear it today. Like, I don't want to hear it today. I'll talk to you in a second and go on.
Right.
But every morning I listen to a sermon. It's important how you start your day.
Right.
But I do wake up and I don't have a negative thought.
Mm-hmm.
If I start with a negative thought, I'm going to end with a negative thought.
Right.
Just like in one of the sermons talking about, if you start your day with God, you're going to end your day with God.
Right.
And so I always want to try to be as positive as I possibly can. But that took years of development there. So I wake up and I'm positive. I listen to a sermon. I drink my coffee. I do some reading. I do whatever I need to do for myself.
Right.
And then, I'm a girl. So I have a makeup process and a hair process.
Right.
So I have to also include that too. I'm just
Right.
saying you gentlemen have it a little bit easy.
Maybe.
But that's how I start up. And
Right.
like you said, like, you're on this journey alone. No one's going to text you
Right.
and be
Get
like,
up.
hey, have a great day.
Right.
Sometimes they do,
Right.
but a lot of the times they don't.
Right.
So who else is going to be there? You. Because
Right.
when you go to bed at night, it's you. You
Right.
close your eyes. Did you do everything that you possibly could today?
Right.
Now, I'm not saying every day is going to be perfect,
Right.
because it's not.
It's not.
But did you at least do something to help out, just to make yourself feel better at night?
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
That's how I start
That's
out my
right.
day.
That's right. That's awesome. That's awesome. That's a great way to start it off.
I try. I really do.
See, advice. What piece of advice would you give to college graduates who want to become entrepreneurs?
Oh, that's actually a good question. So if you're in college and, you're doing your work study and you're doing all of that, if you already have a job in mind, or I would honestly start out with sales. I mean, women, hello, ladies, hello, Mary Kay, Rodan and Fields, like
Avon.
yes,
Yeah.
Avon right there,
Yeah.
like something like small like that, and start it now. Like, as soon as you see, what excites you, go into that program now. And, some people, I know a lot of people who actually went to college and then they dropped out, and then they went into, like, I have a friend of mine, he's in the Marines. I have another friend of mine who lives back over where I graduated high school from, and he was like, it just wasn't for me. Be honest with yourself, right? And so that's the main thing. So if you're going to stick it out with school, then whatever excites you, start building that fire. Because like Will Smith says, like I said, I listen to a lot of motivational things, and it failed quickly. But learn from it. Don't just fail just to discourage yourself. Learn the lesson from it, so then you can move on to the next path and catch that fire again. So if you're in college, find what excites you, take more of those programs, those classes, because then later on you can just change it, or later on you can find a different path. Ladies, I'm just saying, sales, okay? I'm just saying.
and look for those opportunities, because they're out there.
They really are.
There are a lot of opportunities out there. I read, I subscribe to entrepreneur magazines and money magazine and business magazines. And one of the stories I saw last night was a story about Ellen Kemper, who plays the unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. And when she was an intern for a summer, she actually got to write a McDonald's commercial that actually aired on the radio.
Nice.
Which she said, I wasn't even looking to do that, but when I did it, I was like, oh, wow, I'm a business person now. I got marketing skills. I got it going on. But those opportunities and that success helps build your confidence and helps you motivate you to say, okay, I did this. I can do this.
Yes.
Or I can try to get here. As a woman, there haven't been a lot of opportunity. There used to be women worked in the house, and that was all.
Homemakers.
Yeah, homemakers. Yes. That was it. What has it been like for you to see so many women who started off as entrepreneurs, who are business owners? Everyone always goes to Oprah or like Ava DuVernay. There are a lot of other people out there who are making their way. A lot of women. What has that been like for you to see?
Empowering, I guess you can say. I feel like that's the word, coming into 29, be empowered, right? And even a lot of people that I follow on Instagram, it's women empowerment. And so, but it's along the lines of, it's like, wow, like they took a risk when nobody else said, especially if we're talking about Oprah, during a time where they're like, no, like it's not going to happen.
Right.
And so it's just understanding like how much of a risk are you willing to take, women, and it's understanding your own boundaries. I actually talk about this with a friend of mine, and one of the reasons why I'm so positive is because in my mind, there's certain things like if I know like a negative thought is coming up, I'm like, backtrack, Amber, backtrack. Like I know my limit. And so, and that's a sacrifice I'm willing to take for my health, emotionally, spiritually. And so seeing these women understanding like I set a boundary for myself, I've set a risk for myself, but I was just the one to take action on it.
Right.
We can set boundaries and risk all day long, but if we're not moving in that direction, we're not taking that step forward, that action is nothing. It's just potential. Sometimes I'm like it when I'm like, oh, you got so much potential. You're telling me that I could be this, but I'm not there yet.
Right.
So are you meaning it in a positive way, or are you meaning it in a negative way?
Right.
And so like, don't tell me I have potential. If you're gonna say like, say good job, or like, hey, I'm proud of you, like keep going, like I follow you, whatever, or just don't say anything at all.
Right.
Because sometimes, again, with this whole mentality, when you speak words, it gets to people.
Yeah.
So
it's
seed. Exactly. It's a seed. So it's gonna make me want to take that step forward, or it's gonna make me come back.
Right.
But if a person is strong enough, and so seeing these strong women take that action and understand that risk, it's amazing.
Right.
And it just gives you hope.
That's right. All right, then. Well, I wish we had an hour.
Has it been 30 minutes?
Oh, it's almost been 30 minutes. But to quickly tell everyone how they can get in contact with you if they have questions about marketing or would like you to
coach
be their
them.
strategy. Yeah.
Okay. With speaking or anything like that. Yeah. Absolutely. So, like he said, you can go to my Facebook page. It's A-Russ Marketing. So A-R-U-S-S and then marketing. I do have an Instagram. I know we're a lot on digital. So it's A-Russ1121. I've got a lot of content on there. And then also you can actually go ahead and email me. I'd give you my phone number, but I feel like my phone would be blowing off the hook. But you can email me at russell.marketing361@gmail.com. russell.marketing361@gmail.com. RUSSELL marketing361.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on the show, Amber. We appreciate you being on here. We will definitely have you back because we have a whole lot of questions that we didn't even get to go to.
Yay! I'm excited.
And I'd like to thank our sponsors, R&R Custom Wheels and Tires Express, Baskerville Funeral Home, and Helping Hands of Tennessee. Thank you all so much for tuning in to Hub City Now. You can find us on Facebook. You can find us on YouTube. If you missed the show, make sure you tell people about this show. You can find many of our past episodes on YouTube. Also, I'm still working on TyroneTonyReedJr.com. I had a hiccup on the internet, and so I'm still trying to get that together. I'm still working on the third and fourth novels of Solad, but if you haven't gotten your first 2 books in the novel series, make sure you go to Amazon, or you can find me online at Facebook, and I'll give you the information. So you all continue to take care of one another, love one another, and have a very blessed week. God bless.